So today we're having a look at the Brexit Party as seen through Ian Dunn, and as usual, go follow Ian Dunn, go follow his stuff. He's, as I've said before, probably the best journalists following Brexit, and I completely 100% agree with this about this. So it's the Brexit Party is a post-politics entity. So the Brexit Party is Britain's first truly post-politics entity. It is not based on reason or on policy. It is based on emotions and conspiracy theory. It is not really fighting the establishment. It is fighting against Enlightenment values. No matter how long you research, you will never find any content in the Brexit Party. There is no manifesto. Its website is a policies-free zone and is a product made entirely of packaging. It is not even really clear what its Brexit policy actually is. There's a reference to WTO Brexit in the Leave Means Leave boss Richard Tear's Twitter feed, and Clean Brexit, whatever that is, the party leader from party leader Nigel Farage. But do they mean no aviation treaties between Britain and Europe? No equivalent arrangements or financial services? No cooperation on border processes? Presumably not. And if not, they are talking about some kind of deal, just a different one. But even to go into the kind of very basic detail is to exceed what they have to offer. They have no ideas at all. They are not supposed to. Their retail offer is emotional. They pound the relentless drumbeat of betrayal, humiliation and destruction. Theresa May's deal would, quote, would have only been signed by a country that had faced defeat in war, Farage said at a recent rally. The country was humbled and humiliated. The democratic process has been willfully betrayed. The political class are treasonous. But here's the thing. Both Labour and the Tories are trying to deliver Brexit. What they are coming up against is the reality that Brexit won't work. And they are trying to mitigate something that a machine won't work. You know, imagine that you cut a slice out of a tyre. It's still a tyre, but it's not effective as a completely round tyre. So that's the combination. An absence of rational political content and an overabundance of emotional content, and the narrative frame of focused on betrayal and humiliation. Farage and his coterie of candidates talk a lot about democracy, but the fact is, this way of doing things goes directly against democratic values. Democracy is based on the notion that voters will look at ideas, pick the ones they like, and vote for the party which proposed them. By eradicating ideas from elections, that process becomes impossible. You can't compare what parties promise. If they win, you can't judge them what they have achieved because they have never revealed what they wanted to do. You are being deprived of your ability to rationally assess a political entity asking for power. And that's the biggest criticism you can actually level at Farage. He doesn't have an idea. He's asking for a blank cheque, and maybe at the next election, some of his people might win seats. But what's their manifesto? What are they going to do exactly in Parliament? Those are very valid questions which any political party should have to answer. Or else, again, as it says, it completely denies the notion of democracy, yet this is something that they talk a lot about. So then the emotional part kicks in. Emotions can't be asserted or challenged. They cannot be falsified or refuted. They are simply felt or they are not. There is no human improvement that can take place through a political debate conducted exclusively through feelings. What are the emotion Farage encourages? Is it love and the common brotherhood of man? No. It's the same old story we always get from nationalist authoritarians. Division and hatred. The nation is pure and good, but it is besieged from outside by enemies and inside by traitors. The shadowy elite are conspiring in the nation's decline. It is no coincidence that Farage appeared on the insane InfoWars program with the conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. His worldview is drenched waist deep in conspiracy gibberish. On the program, he talked of the New World Order and the globalists, both code words for a paranoid view of the world which sees hidden forces try to diminish the nation state and forcibly diversify into otherwise one homogeneous people. The critique is broadly in line with that used against the Jewish people for centuries, that of a shadowy cabal of wealthy and powerful minorities controlling events for their own gain. Jewish groups have rightly pointed this out, but of course it makes no difference. The dull daily thump of paranoia and hatred continues anyway. Once you start paying attention, it quickly becomes clear that almost everything Farage says is a conspiracy theory. A Remain Parliament stopped Brexit, he says, even though the vast majority of MPs want Brexit to happen, and the deal would have gotten through if it wasn't for hardline Brexiteer MPs. May herself is branded a Remainer, despite her every word being about delivering Brexit. So either MPs are secretly pursuing a Remain plot, or the Prime Minister is. Note how both outcomes, Brexit happening and Brexit not happening, are a betrayal by some form of Remain conspiracy, either in Parliament or Downing Street. We hear these lies so often that we start to accept them as normal, but once you question them, it is clear what they are. They're a conspiracy theory. They're exactly the kind of babbling nonsense Alex Jones is always screaming about on his internet show. That's the headline conspiracy, but Farage has another one for almost every aspect of society. One at a recent rally, he insisted young people opposed Brexit because of the constant bias, prejudice and brainwashing in British universities, and then insisted that educational institutions were systematically marking down students who supported leaving the EU. Notice how effectively these approaches work together. First, you remove the descriptable political ideas from the discourse. Then you introduce a notion of conspiracy all around you, where whatever does not correspond to your feelings can be explained away by powerful actors operating against your interests. Then you wash it out with emotional storytelling about the nation being betrayed from within and without. But who can you trust? No one. What information can you rely on? None at all. There's just the party and its leader, who offer you emotional reassurance without any intellectual component for you to evaluate. Your capacity for individual judgment is whittled away. The trust is not based on testable positions like politicians and like policies and argument, but on feelings. They call themselves patriots, but in truth the Brexit Party opposes the values which might make anyone truly proud to be British. The ability to scrutinise power, the triumph of reason over passion in political discourse, and the rejection of the conspiracy theory. They're in a war not just against other political parties, but against our whole way of doing things. And that is completely true. If you've got, like, that's the first time I've actually heard that. That's so ridiculous. Marking down students who support leaving the EU. That's so ridiculous. And yet that is a conspiracy theory. And that's what it all plays into. Nigel Farage is now trying to do what Alex Jones has done for years to his audience. You cocoon them in an absolute web of bullshit until a point where they daren't let go of any of the threads, because all the threads are now interconnecting, and heaven forbid they actually have to accept that there is this reality and that they just want to cocoon themselves in it, because he's right about that. Theresa May is trying to deliver Brexit. You may not like her withdrawal deal, but that is Brexit. It delivers on a leave vote because leave was so poorly ill-defined during the referendum that Theresa May's deal does fulfil the ideas of a referendum. So, what can you do about it? Anyhow, you've got Brexiteers chanting that it's betrayal. It's not. Theresa May is delivering exactly what you asked for. If you don't like it, you voted for it. I didn't.